Family. This video right here is making serious waves. A Jamaican voice speaking directly to Prime Minister Andrew Holness, reacting to claims linked to Donald Trump and China's role in Jamaica. And whether you agree or disagree, one thing is clear. This conversation cannot be ignored because this is bigger than politics. This is about development, sovereignty, and who gets to decide Jamaica's future.
Oh, this is a message to Andrew Holness. I saw an article where Donald Trump is saying that Jamaicans should get rid of the Chinese. Always remember this. America do not like to see another country strive unless they are the one who are helping. Okay. You see how Haiti need help right now? You see America even looking at Haiti? No, they don't give a fuck about Haiti. You see how Jamaica is developing right now? Jamaica look 10 times better than a lot of place in America, a lot of state. Jamaica looks so different. Jamaica, the land of food and water. You know how long we Jamaicans ask the British, the English people them to fix the road from Montego Bay to Kingston? Them say it impossible for build. You know how long we ask the American to fix the road from Montego Bay to Kingston? Them say it impossible. We ask many other countries and them say it impossible. But the Chinese them do it in a one day. When me say one day, I don't mean one day. But the Chinese them never say it impossible. You see, because them see how the Chinese them are develop a country. Even me myself got Jamaica and last. I couldn't find my way from Spanish Town to Kingston. The amount of road. The road them big and pretty highway. Yo! And the Chinese them we want in our country. We no mash up our country enough. We no put we under enough sufferation. And we now go back where we are come from. We are go full speed ahead. And the Chinese them we want in our country. Cheap and clean. We now sell one pocketbook for $6 to $100. And the Chinese them are sell it for $20. We now sell we a pound of oxtail in America for $15. And if you go to Jamaica, you get it for $700. That is like $5. The Chinese them, we love them in a Jamaica. And them a develop a country. And them make Jamaica look better than America right now. We now sell out the Chinese them. The Chinese them never do nothing yet. The only thing the Chinese them do for we are good. Give a good road. We used to take 4 to 5 hours to go to Montego Bay. Now we can do it in a 2 hour. We love the Chinese them and we now give them away. America no like say nothing good for no country. So Donald Trump, me love you and everything, but leave the Chinese them alone in our country. That's our business. We Jamaican business, not your business. Leave them alone.
We're honored to be with some terrific people that have been friends of mine, in many cases friends of mine. They've done a wonderful job in their respective countries, and we'll be talking about many subjects. Trade, we always talk about trade, but we'll also be discussing, I have a feeling, Venezuela. That may come up in our conversation. It's become a very big topic all over the world, Venezuela, and we look forward to spending a lot of time together this afternoon and discussing ways that we can be beneficial to you and you can be beneficial to us. And we very much appreciate your being at Mar-a-Lago. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. If you'd like to say something to the media, maybe we'll start with you.
First of all, I want to thank you very much for extending the invitation to St. Lucia to participate. I want to thank you for the support and leadership that you've been providing in our region. The United States is our biggest trading partner. And we'd like to think of the amount of trade that also the U.S. benefits from in the Caribbean. And so we're very much looking forward to these discussions today and seeing how we can enhance the relationship to our mutual benefits.
Very good. Thank you. Please.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of Haiti, Haiti and the United States are two countries that are not only friends, but very close. I am a friend, and Miami is actually less than 2 hours away from our island. And we are here this afternoon. We'll have discussions of good things, things that will be positive for both countries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. President, for your invitation. We thank you. The Dominican Republic and the United States of America are two important partners. In fact, the United States is our main economic partner, and we are here to discuss issues of the region, and we are here to your avail to collaborate. Thank you.
We look forward to discussions on energy, on trade, but on security as well. We look forward to discussing regional issues to do with the peace and stability of the region and how we can move forward with the prosperity of our people. So we thank you again for the invitation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm delighted to have been invited here today to discuss certain issues that are of mutual benefit to both of us. The Bahamas, the United States, has been our #1 trading partner. We are neighbors. We have great relationship. We will continue to foster such relationship. I know that the meetings and the discussion today will be very productive, and we expect to come out with positive views and feelings. Thank you very much.
I think that'll happen. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, everybody, and we look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
I always hate that I have to have my ties made in China. And you know why they're made in China? Because China manipulates their currency.
We have a massive deficit with Mexico, and we help Mexico a lot. They're essentially run by the cartels, and can't let that happen. Mexico's really in trouble, a lot of trouble. We are inheriting a difficult situation from the outgoing administration, and they're trying everything they can to make it more difficult. Inflation is continuing to rage, and interest rates are far too high. And I've been disappointed to see the Biden administration's attempt to block the reforms of the American people and that they voted for. We had a landslide election. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of people. Nobody even knows how many people, millions. And they're still counting in some areas. You know, they're still counting the vote in some areas. Can you believe this? What a place. What a horrible place. One of the things we're going to do is we've got to fix the election so that we get honest counts and they get done by 10 o'clock in the evening or something thereabouts. They have places where they're still counting votes. President Biden's actions yesterday on offshore drilling, banning offshore drilling, will not stand. I will reverse it immediately. It'll be done immediately. And we will drill, baby, drill. And we're going to be drilling in a lot of other locations. And the energy costs are going to come way down. They'll be brought down to a very low level. And that's going to bring everything else down. That's what caused it to go up, along with the ridiculous spending on the Green New scam. All this money, trillions of dollars. It's like throwing it right out the window, what they're doing. And they're trying to spend so much now. They're just taking money and giving it to anybody that wants it for any project at all, if it's certified under the Green New scam. And they don't work, and it's too expensive. And, you know, they told me that we're going to do everything possible to make this transition to the new administration very smooth. It's not smooth because they're doing that. They're playing with the courts, as you know. They've been playing with the courts for 4 years, probably got me more votes because I got the highest number of votes ever gotten by a Republican, by far, actually, by a lot. And, you know, we had a great election, so I guess it didn't work. But even to this day, they're playing with the courts. They have their friendly judges that like to try and make everybody happy on the Democrat side.
It's called lawfare. It's called weaponization of justice, and it's happened at a level nobody's ever seen before. The Panama Canal is a disgrace, what took place at the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave it to them for $1, and they were supposed to treat us well. I thought it was a terrible thing to do. You know, it was the most expensive structure ever built in the history of our country, relatively. It would be the equivalent of substantially over $1 trillion today. We lost 38,000 people. Think of it, 38,000 people, they died from malaria, mosquitoes. They were unable to stop the mosquitoes. They paid people 5 times more to take the job. Many of those people died. We gave it away for $1. But the deal was that, you know, they have to treat us fairly. They don't treat us fairly. They charge more for our ships than they charge for ships of other countries. They charge more for our Navy than they charge for navies of other countries. They laugh at us because they think we're stupid, but we're not stupid anymore. So the Panama Canal is under discussion with them right now. They violated every aspect of the agreement, and they morally violated it also. And they want our help because it's leaking and not in good repair. And they want us to give $3 billion to help fix it. I said, well, why don't you get the money from China? Because China's basically taken it over. China's at both ends of the Panama Canal. China's running the Panama Canal. And they come to see this Biden, this guy who should never have been allowed even to run for president. Of course, she shouldn't have either, because that never happened. I had to beat 2 people, not 1. But they want $3 billion to fix the Panama Canal that's run by China and makes a lot of money, China. One of the most profitable structures ever built, because you have ships lined up back to Florida, frankly, and they just keep going through, and the numbers are staggering, $500,000 to $1 million a ship. And they took it away from us, meaning we gave it to them for $1. But not going to happen. What they've done to us, they've charged us, they've overcharged our ships, overcharged our Navy. And then when they need repair money, they come to the United States to put it up. We get nothing. Those days are over. We are not treated well, as you know, by Canada. Canada is subsidized to the tune of about $200 billion a year, plus other things. They don't essentially have a military. They have a very small military. They rely on our military. It's all fine, but, you know, they got to pay for that. It's very unfair. I have so many great friends. One of them is the great one, Wayne Gretzky. I said, run for Prime Minister. You'll win it'll take 2 seconds. But he said, well, am I going to run for Prime Minister or Governor? You tell me. I said, I don't know. Let's make it Governor. I like it better. But no, something's going to have to be done. Same thing with Mexico. We have a massive deficit with Mexico, and we help Mexico a lot. They're essentially run by the cartels, and can't let that happen. Mexico's really in trouble, a lot of trouble. Very dangerous place. And we're going to be announcing at a future date pretty soon. We're going to change, because we do most of the work there, and it's ours. We're going to be changing, sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. They can stop them. And we're going to put very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada, because Canada, they come through Canada too. And the drugs that are coming through are at record numbers, record numbers. So we're going to make up for that by putting tariffs on Mexico and Canada, substantial tariffs. And we want to get along with everybody, but, you know, they have to, it takes 2 to tango.
Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you, you're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this, we need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. A big part of the problem was Russia for many, many years, long before Putin said you could never have NATO involved with Ukraine. Now, they've said that. That's been like written in stone. And somewhere along the line, Biden said, no, they should be able to join NATO. Well, then Russia has somebody right on their doorstep, and I could understand their feeling about that. But there were a lot of mistakes made in that negotiation. And when I heard the way that Biden was negotiating, I said, you're going to end up in a war. And it turned out to be a very bad war. And it could escalate. That war could escalate to be much worse than it is right now.
They can never join NATO.
Well, my view is that it was always understood. In fact, I believe that they had a deal, and then Biden broke it. They had a deal which would have been a satisfactory deal to Ukraine and everybody else, but that Biden said, no, you have to be able to join NATO. And that's always been, and nobody knows more about NATO than I. You know, years ago when I first started this, I didn't know too much about NATO, but I got it right anyway. I said they're taking advantage. I'm the one that got, and the Secretary General was here, as you know, 2 weeks ago, saying that if it weren't for me, NATO wouldn't even exist right now, because I raised from countries that weren't paying their bills. At that time, 28 countries, 20 of them were not paying their bills, 21 to be exact. They weren't paying. Or they were paying a very small portion. And I raised over $680 billion, that was the number he gave, by saying, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. And as soon as I said that, the money came pouring in. But Obama could have said it. Other people could have said it. Bush could have said it. Nobody said it but me. I took a lot of heat. They said, oh, that's a threatening statement. Well, they weren't paying their bills. I said, we're not going to protect you if you're not paying the bills. So in a true sense, I saved NATO, but NATO's taken advantage of us. And one of the problems that I have, and I've said it openly, I said it to President Zelensky, Europe is in for a tiny fraction of the money that we're in. Now, whether you like that situation or not, Europe is much more affected than the United States. We have a thing called the ocean in between us, right? Why are we in for billions and billions of dollars more money than Europe? And, you know, they're a similar size, a little smaller, but they're a similar size economy as the United States when you add them up. And yet Europe is in for a small fraction of the number the United States is in. Now, Biden could have called them up during the term. That's what I did. I said, you have to pay your bills. And they all, one stood up. I won't say who. You'll probably have it because the papers, the media hated to report on it. But a Prime Minister up from a country, you know, our famous meeting of 28 nations with no press, no anybody in the room. He stood up. He says, does that mean if we don't pay our bill, and at that point it was 2%, it should be 5%. It should be 5%, not 2%. But at that point it was 2%. But many people didn't pay. Some people didn't pay anything. But many people were way, including Germany. Germany was at less than 1%.
You're going to press for 5%?
Well, I think NATO should have 5%, yeah. Well, you can't do it at 2%. I mean, at 2%, every country, if you're going to have a country in a regular military, you're at 4%. I think they should be, you know, they're in dangerous territory. I think it should be, they can all afford it, but they should be at 5%, not 2%. I'm the one that got them to pay 2%. Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen. And if Denmark wants to get to a conclusion, but nobody knows if they even have any right, title, or interest. The people are going to probably vote for independence or to come into the United States. But if they did do that, then I would tariff Denmark at a very high level.
We suffer every day. Can you imagine? We have been here for centuries and we're still lagging around. If we do start a business in Jamaica, it's one of the hardest things to start a business. While the Chinaman come from China, come to Jamaica, start a business, non-tax for 5 years. And by the time the 5 years come when he start pay tax, he making cousin and he never and he uncle come and him gone. So, and listen, this have been happening for centuries. So this have nothing to do with PNP or JLP. And you know, at the end of the day, none of them now want to fix it because all of them want us to, the black man, to stay at the back.
There is no democratic president in the world. And I say truly, who is the democratic president? Trump? Obama? Who is here in Britain? We should be clear. Democracy is an illusion. We cannot have democracy in a capitalist, imperialist, patriarchal system, religious system.
Why not?
Because this is, they want money. Because if you remove religion and capitalism and imperialism, then you will have socialism. And then no government will be there, you know. They are afraid of the real power of the people. You cannot have democracy, because what is democracy? Democracy is real freedom.
But if you believe that none of these democracies are democracies, why do the people live with it?
Because people are oppressed. People are not organized. We are prevented from organizing. That's the key point. When I was an individual writer, even if I become famous and star, they allow me, but not to organize. The minute I started to organize women and men, I became a danger. You are not organized here. The people here are not organized.
But nobody is stopping organization here.
But they stop it.
No government is going to come and lock you up or kill you in Britain, are they?
But in a subtle way. I know the American way.
It's not just the Americans that Trump initially and Biden later worried that big tech in China is rising. It's not just that. That would not worry them so much on its own. It is that Chinese big tech, a company like Alibaba or Tencent, Huawei, is rising in a country where the banking sector does not have autonomous power, unlike Britain with the City of London and America with Wall Street. In China, because of the power of the Chinese Communist Party, the political power, the big tech companies and the banks have fused, they've become one. So you have an app like WeChat, which is Elon Musk's wet dream. What Elon Musk wants to do with Twitter is to replicate WeChat. WeChat, imagine an app that does everything. It shows you photographs, it plays music, it shows movies, it allows you to communicate, it's got something like Facebook on it, and allows you free payments. Free payments. You make payments and the bank does not retain anything either from you or from the vendor. The Americans do not have that. And they do not have that not because they don't have the technology to have that, but because, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America will never allow Google and Apple to get away with it, to take over their business. But if you fuse together big tech with big finance, you have something much more powerful, which is what the Chinese have done, than what the Americans have done, have created.
China is the only country that has developed this new form of capital, which I call cloud capital, which is the part of capital which, when it accumulates, bestows upon its owner the most power. It's the capital that lives inside your phone, the algorithmic AI-driven capital, which is not new. It's been happening now for 10, 15 years. If you think about it, there is no British or European competitor to Google, to Facebook, to Amazon.com, to Uber, to Airbnb, to any of these platforms. None. No British, no German, no French, no Indian competitor to them. China has a bigger and better version of each one of them in China. And not only that, but there is an application called WeChat that belongs to Tencent, which, imagine an application, we don't have it here in Europe. You don't have an app that allows you to watch movies, like Netflix, to call a cab like Uber, to send tweets, to do that, and on top of that, to send money, to pay, to make payments for free to anyone in the world. For free, no fee, no banking fee attached. That app doesn't exist in the West. The Chinese have it. So, to the extent that the United States remains hegemonic because they have the monopoly of all payment systems. When you pay anybody, even within Britain, that payment finds its way through to the other person, to the person to whom you are making the payment, through a system totally controlled by the United States. Not by the Bank of England, not by England or the European Union, totally by the United States. This is why...
Explain that, because people don't understand. If you're using Visa or PayPal, people get that.
Well, Visa and PayPal are all American.
But a bank transfer, how's that?
Well, it is possible for a payment to be made within Britain without going through one of the filters that go through Washington. But Washington has the means to press a button and stop you from making a payment from Lloyds Bank to NatWest within London. After the Second World War, Europe and Britain had no payment system. We were, in ashes after the Second World War. The continent of Europe was in genuine ashes, and Britain was bankrupt. So when Bretton Woods rebuilt the financial system through the system of central banks, the Bank of International Settlements and all that, SWIFT, have you seen the acronym SWIFT? All this system is an electronic payment system, a messaging system, which messages one bank, £10.35 is going from here to there. That system is totally controlled by the United States, because it was the United States that created it after Bretton Woods.
The speaker is saying something many Jamaicans quietly feel, that when Jamaica starts to look good, develop infrastructure and move forward, suddenly there is pressure from powerful countries. He points out something important. For decades, Jamaica asked Britain, America, and others to help fix major infrastructure like the Montego Bay Kingston corridor. The answer was always impossible. Then China came, and suddenly the impossible became possible. And let's be honest, the highways have changed Jamaica. What used to take 4 or 5 hours now takes 2. That is real impact on people's lives. Business, tourism, emergency services, everything. The video isn't saying China is perfect. It is saying results matter. The speaker compares prices, access to goods, ease of doing business, and development speed. And from his perspective, China delivered where others hesitated. And this is where geopolitics comes in. The US and China are in a global power struggle. Trade, technology, and influence. And small countries like Jamaica risk becoming the grass when 2 bulls fight. But here is the truth, and we must say it clearly. Jamaica must never trade dependency for dependency. Whether it's America, China, or anyone else. Jamaica's leaders must protect Jamaican interests first. Transparency matters. Fair contracts matters. Local businesses must not be locked out. The video forces us to ask hard questions. Who truly supports development? Who benefits? And how does Jamaica grow without losing control? This isn't about hate. This is about sovereignty, respect, and progress. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's reason respectfully.